Belleville serves as the county seat of St. Clair County, Illinois. It is a typical Midwestern city with a rich past and a tightly bonded community. After the Civil War ended, Belleville developed into an important hub for manufacturing a wide range of goods, including stoves, nails, printing presses, iron castings, and agricultural equipment. It earned the nickname the stove capital of the world and was also home to Illinois' first brewery. Approximately 42,000 people reside in Belleville and they represent a diverse population. They are welcoming and maintain good relationships with those who live around them. On a rainy spring day, this is where the story of Ashley Reeves began. Ashley Reeves, a high school junior from Mill, Illinois, was born on January 1, 1989 to Michelle and Michael Mike Reeves, who were deeply in love. The town of Millard is located 8 miles from Belleville. Ashley lived there with her parents and her younger sister Casey. At the age of 17, Ashley was a sociable and popular student at Columbia High School. Her family approved of her boyfriend, Jeremy. Jeremy had been dating Ashley for nearly 2 years and was viewed by her parents as a kind, trustworthy young man who genuinely cared about her. Ashley performed well academically and was liked by her friends because she was intelligent and humorous. What she anticipated most was graduating. But a major event was about to occur in her life and she had no idea it was coming. Ashley had big plans for Thursday, April 27, 2006. Her parents were told that she had a job interview in Fairview Heights, which is roughly 20 minutes away from Millard. After the interview, she planned to play basketball at a park. Her curfew was 10 o'clock p.m., but she said she would return home before that time. She borrowed her boyfriend Jeremy's car to travel to Fairview Heights and took an extra set of clothes with her. At around 3:30 p.m., she went to her interview. As the evening went on, Ashley was not seen. Her mother, Michelle, did not think much of it at first because teenagers often fail to follow rules. However, as the night progressed, Michelle began to feel uncomfortable. By then, it was well past 10 p.m. and Ashley had still not returned home. Casey, her younger sister, had also not heard from Ashley all day. Michelle and Casey became concerned about Ashley's disappearance. So they called and sent messages to try to reach her. Instead, they were met with an unsettling silence. Michelle trusted her instincts as a mother and she could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. She decided to seek assistance from the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office. Initially, the police believed Ashley had simply lost track of time while enjoying herself with friends, like many other girls her age. But they soon sensed that something about this situation was off. Teenagers might ignore calls or texts from family members, but they usually respond to messages from friends. In Ashley's situation, however, not even her friends were able to contact her. Lieutenant Mike Hund of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office was concerned because there was complete silence. This was not A case of a teenager breaking the rules. A full-scale search for a missing person was underway. Officers searched the surrounding area, but they were unable to locate anyone. Ashley had not been seen for 8 hours, and everyone understood that the first 48 hours were the most critical. With every passing minute, the urgency to find her increased. Eventually, the search produced a lead. Police discovered Jeremy's abandoned vehicle in Laterman Park in Belleville, which is only 15 minutes from Ashley's home. Inside the car, they found Ashley's bag. It contained the spare clothes she had packed for playing basketball. The deserted car was a significant piece of evidence, but it also suggested that Ashley had experienced something terrible. When someone goes missing, those closest to them are usually the first individuals questioned. On that awful day, Ashley had borrowed her boyfriend Jeremy's car, so police focused their attention on him. However, investigators could tell that Jeremy genuinely cared for Ashley. He stated that he was not in town on the night Ashley disappeared and had no involvement in what happened. He explained that he had only lent Ashley his car so she could attend her job interview and basketball plans in Fairview Heights. Police could not understand why Ashley would have gone to a park much farther from her home to play basketball instead of going to one near Millard. This raised suspicions that she might have been meeting someone there. That suspicion grew stronger when Ashley's friends shared important details. It became public knowledge that Ashley was seeing an older man and that the two of them frequently played basketball together. Ashley had planned to meet this man on the day she went missing. Michelle, Ashley's mother, was devastated when she learned this information. She decided to take action on her own. Because Ashley was only 17. Her mother had registered Ashley's phone under her own name. This allowed Michelle to obtain Ashley's phone records by contacting the phone company. This decision would prove to be crucial. After Ashley disappeared, Michelle noticed that she continued to receive calls from the same phone number. Wanting to identify the caller, Michelle returned the call and spoke with a 26-year-old man who was asking about Ashley. As Michelle reviewed the calls her daughter had made and received in the days leading up to her disappearance, it became clear that this man had once been Ashley's teacher and was also the person she had gone to meet on that terrible day. His name was Samson Shelton. Samson was born in 1980 and had held a variety of different jobs. He worked as a driver's education instructor, coached physical education at a nearby school, and also competed as a professional fighter on the side. During his wrestling career, he was known by the nickname The Teacher. Samson had many female students. Some of them liked him because they thought he was attractive, while others believed he was strange and overly self-centered. Ashley had Samson as a teacher when she was in 7th grade in 2001. In February of 2006, only 2 months before she disappeared, the two reconnected many times. They met in Belleville, where Samson lived with his mother and grandmother. This was close to Ladman Park, the location where Jeremy's car was later discovered abandoned. While Michelle, Ashley's mother, reviewed the phone records, she was able to speak with Samson when she contacted him. Samson sounded friendly, cautious, and interested, but he claimed that he had not seen Ashley. He did not seem particularly concerned that the girl was missing when he ended the call. There was no way to question him about why he had been communicating with her teenage daughter. He appeared unconcerned that Ashley had vanished. By Friday, April 28, 2006, Ashley had not been seen for an entire night. Ashley's mother was overwhelmed with frightening thoughts about her daughter. She wondered whether Ashley was cold, injured, or suffering. Police went to the high school where Samson worked to question him and brought him in. At first, Samson appeared calm and composed. He was polite and even cooperative with the investigation. However, things soon began to shift. He lied to police when they questioned him about Ashley. He claimed that he had not seen her for several days. When officers initially asked Samson about his relationship with Ashley, he stated that they were merely friends who occasionally met to play basketball. Sergeant Daniel Stockett of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office sensed that Samson was attempting to deceive him. He believed that Samson would continue talking and play along, assuming the situation would resolve itself. As investigators dug further into the case and uncovered his lies, he slowly began to reveal the truth. He changed his story and admitted that their relationship was more than friendship. He said, "I will say this. We never kissed." But when his account was challenged by Ashley's friends, who said they believed the two were dating, he changed his story again. This version was even worse. He said she was in the back of the vehicle there. And after that day, he felt absolutely terrible. In an attempt to portray himself as a victim, Samson claimed that Ashley was deeply in love with him. His portrayal of her as a young girl with a crush who constantly called him made her seem unstable. Samson said he had been avoiding Ashley for days, hoping she would stop pursuing him. Swansea Police Chief Stephen Johnson stated that officers began doubting Samson's account when he altered it repeatedly. At first, he said they were simply friends who played basketball together. Then he said that he had told her he wanted a romantic relationship, presenting it as something mutual and consensual. Later, he changed his account yet again and claimed that he was actually trying to end the relationship altogether, suggesting that he was the one attempting to do the right thing. Detectives found these shifting explanations difficult to believe, especially because each new version directly contradicted the last. Investigators had a strong sense that the truth was very close, just out of reach, and that continued pressure would eventually force it to surface. After many hours of intense questioning, Samson finally admitted that he had slept with Ashley, one of his former students, and that he had been with her on April 27, the day she disappeared. He explained that he and Ashley were driving together in his car when they became involved in a very heated and emotional argument. according to Samson. It was during this argument that he decided he wanted to end their relationship. When he told Ashley this, she became upset and began yelling at him, refusing to accept what he was saying. He claimed that he pulled the car over, unbuckled her seat belt, and ordered her to get out of the vehicle. When Ashley refused to leave the car, Samson said he forcibly removed her and left her alone on the side of the road. Samson insisted that Ashley was still alive the last time he saw her. He claimed that he cared about her deeply, that he was worried about her safety, and that he would never have hurt her, because he was sick and not capable of such violence. Detectives did not believe these claims. Ashley had been abandoned alone on a dark road at night, and Samson's actions did not align with someone who truly cared. If he genuinely feared for her safety, investigators believed his behavior afterward would have reflected that concern. Instead, Ashley's phone records showed that Samson never once tried to call or text her after leaving her on the roadside to check whether she was okay, rather than searching for her or contacting authorities. He went to the Wild Country Dance Club, a local country bar, where he spent the night dancing and socializing. When investigators asked why he had behaved this way, Samson said he was afraid of what he might find if he returned to the place where he had left Ashley. By this point, Samson had changed his version of events so many times that police knew they could no longer trust anything he said. There was immense pressure to locate Ashley as nearly 30 hours had passed since she was last seen alive. Officers repeatedly urged Samson to be honest, warning him that time was running out. Despite these efforts, it still felt as though progress was painfully slow. During a bathroom break, Samson encountered Stephen Johnson, the lead detective on the case. Johnson had known Samson for years because Samson had once participated in the Police Explorer Post program, a Boy Scouts affiliated initiative designed to introduce young people to law enforcement. Because of this shared history, Johnson decided to take over the interrogation. Believing he might be able to reach Samson on a more personal level, he asked Samson to talk openly about the mistake he had made and the consequences of his actions. After about 20 minutes, Johnson mentioned a specific name and Samson finally broke down. When the idea of disappointing and hurting his grandmother was brought up, Samson began to cry, revealing a crack in his emotional armor and suggesting that guilt was beginning to surface. After 12 hours of questioning, Samson made a shocking and deeply disturbing confession. He told police exactly what he had done to Ashley and described where he had left her in a cold and horrifying manner. In his recorded statement, Samson, who was known as a part-time wrestler, admitted that he had strangled Ashley and dragged her from the car, not simply forcing her out and abandoning her on the roadside as he had previously claimed. He described a terrifying moment when Ashley's body went limp, followed by a long, chilling pause. Believing that he had broken her neck, Samson became angry and threw her into the woods. When he realized she was still alive, he strangled her again. First using his bare hands and then his belt. He said that he could not remember how long he kept the belt around her neck because he turned his head away, unable or unwilling to watch what he was doing. He claimed that he loosened the belt only after hearing Ashley make a gurgling sound. According to his confession, Ashley was extremely ill, with foam coming from her mouth and her tongue protruding between her teeth. In a final act of violence, Samson used Ashley's foot as leverage and pulled so hard that the belt snapped. He then strangled her a third time with his bare hands and left her lying on the cold forest floor, believing she would die there. After making this confession, Samson agreed to lead police to Ashley's body, which he said was located in Citizens Park, a 45-acre park in Belleville, just 12 minutes from Ashley's home in Millard. Every officer involved felt deeply uneasy during the walk through the woods, knowing they were being led by someone they believed to be a murderer. Heavy rain throughout the night had altered the terrain, and Samson struggled to remember the exact spot where he had left Ashley. Police searched the wooded area for about 30 minutes using flashlights, while doubts began to surface about whether Samson was telling the truth or simply wasting time. As the search team pushed through dense vegetation, cameras recorded the entire heartbreaking scene. When they finally reached a clearing, they saw Ashley Reeves lying completely still. She was on her back, her hands resting on her chest, her tongue protruding from her mouth, and numerous insect bites covering her face. As detectives grappled with the crushing belief that they had arrived too late, something unbelievable happened. Ashley's hands began to move and her chest slowly started to rise. Against all odds, Ashley was alive. She had survived nearly an entire day alone in the woods. After being attacked 3 separate times, she endured more than 30 hours exposed to the cold. But her condition was critical, and officers knew they had to act immediately. Multiple responders rushed to her aid, fearing she might not survive being carried out of the woods. Later, photographs taken of Samson at the police station showed that he had very few injuries, making it clear why Ashley had never had a real chance to fight back. She was nearly completely paralyzed as a result of the brutal attack, her body having suffered catastrophic trauma. Doctors determined that she had a broken neck, multiple concussions, and severe hypothermia caused by being left exposed to the cold for more than a full day. Her condition was critical, and every moment mattered. Ashley was rushed to a nearby hospital, where medical teams immediately began working to save her life. To stabilize her and give her body a chance to recover, doctors placed her into a medically induced coma, allowing them to manage swelling, pain, and further complications while closely monitoring her condition. As Ashley fought for her life, police arrested Samson Shelton and formally charged him with first-degree attempted murder. Even at the moment of his arrest, Samson's behavior reflected a disturbing sense of entitlement. He requested a jail cell with a private bathroom, claiming he suffered from a urinary stress disorder, but authorities denied the request. Throughout the process, Sampson displayed clear narcissistic tendencies, showing no visible remorse, empathy, or guilt for the suffering he had caused. Despite giving a detailed confession and leading police to Ashley's location, he pleaded not guilty and never once apologized to her or her family. Many members of the public were shocked and outraged when Sampson managed to have his bond reduced, paid it in full, and was released from county jail on bail. He was allowed to return home and remain there while awaiting his court proceedings. Ashley's mother, Michelle, was overwhelmed with anger and frustration during the bond hearing, clenching her jaw so tightly that she nearly cracked a tooth. As Sampson's court date approached, his mother, Susan, contacted police after becoming concerned that he was attempting to harm himself by combining alcohol with prescription medication. When police officers and emergency responders arrived at his home, they found Sampson in serious condition, nearly unconscious, with the words, "Do not resuscitate," written across his chest. After this apparent suicide attempt, emergency medical technicians tried to provide care. But Sampson became hostile, lashing out physically and striking them. While being transported to the hospital, he allegedly hurled verbal abuse at a nurse who was trying to help him and even kicked her in the face. He also spat on a constable during the incident. The judge presiding over Ashley's case expressed concern about Sampson's mental health, though prosecutors and attorneys believed the suicide attempt may have been a calculated effort to gain sympathy or manipulate the situation. After a month of evaluation, a doctor assessed Sampson and determined that he was mentally competent to stand trial. Wanting to spare Ashley from reliving the trauma through a lengthy court process, her family agreed to a plea deal. In June 2007, the court sentenced Sampson to 20 years in prison after he accepted the agreement. The Illinois Department of Corrections later stated that he would become eligible for parole on April 22, 2024, with a projected release date of April 22, 2027. He remains incarcerated at Hill Correctional Center in Galesburg, Illinois, where he continues to serve his sentence. Mike and Michelle Reeves left their jobs to care for their daughter, Ashley. Mike stayed by Ashley's side during her medical treatment, while Michelle handled media relations and interviews. Ashley remained hospitalized for 3 months and was unable to perform basic tasks such as walking, speaking, or drinking. During that time, her family developed new ways to communicate with her. When doctors informed them that she was improving, they were relieved. They could hardly believe that their athletic daughter had to relearn how to walk. After her recovery, Ashley was single and prepared for a fresh start. She was determined to move past the traumatic event. When Sampson was sentenced in 2007, she expressed relief and said, "I'm glad it's over with. It doesn't bother me. I just want to move on with my life." Ashley endured immense suffering, but she never gave up. She is courageous and resilient, and most importantly, she reclaimed her life and refused to let her past define her. Ashley found love again. She is now 34 years old and lives a normal life in Illinois with her husband and 2 children. Her family and life mean everything to her. She works as a caregiver. If you found this case fascinating, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We post crime case videos every night. Until next time, stay sharp, stay vigilant.